Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining me on today's midterm exam for geometry. Please make sure you pay attention to all of the directions. For example, show all necessary work for each problem. Place your answers on the answer sheet. If it's a multiple choice question, please use capital letters. That's big letters for your answers. If you need extra room to work, you can probably use the back of your paper on the test. Okay? So do all your work on the test and on the back, and then make sure you put your answer on the answer document. There's 53 questions. Take your time. Wish you the best. You'll do just fine. So here we go. Number 1 says find the next 3 numbers in the pattern. Your pattern is 1, 3, 6, 10. So look at how are they changing from 1 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 10. Okay, numbers are getting bigger. It means you're either adding or multiplying. Okay, what's the final 3 numbers? So that means you should have 3 more numbers. Number 2, complete the following conjecture. Basically, draw a conclusion. The product, that's the answer to multiplication problem, of an odd and an even number is always what? Is it odd, positive, even, or negative? So for example, if we say the product of an odd and an even number, so like 1 times 3, that's going to give you 3. Or how about 5 times 3? It gives you 15. Kind of continue that pattern. Do a few more problems. Make sure you use an odd and an even. Mr. Brooks messed that up, didn't he? Odd and an even. Okay, let's try this again. So 1 and 2, that's going to give me 2. 5 times 4, that's an odd and even, that's going to give me 20. Or 2 times 3 gives me 6. What do you notice about these answers so far? Maybe try a couple more. Is your answer always odd, positive, even, or negative? Number 3. You want to find the length of D to E. That's from here to here. So the whole thing is 41 units. E to F is 17. Figure out just what's this piece right here, just from here to here. And number 4, determine if JK is congruent with LM. If they're congruent, I mean if they're the same length. Now remember what we had talked about. Okay, you got to take... Don't worry about these guys, they're the same, but what do you got to do with these 2 numbers? Take the absolute value, subtract those 2 numbers, find their absolute value. That's how far away you are from 0. Here, these are the same, so you're going to use these 2 numbers. So you're going to take the absolute value of negative 2 minus 1. And what do you get? If you get the same number, then they're congruent. If you get a different number, they're not. Number 5, you find the value of x. Okay, so this is a linear pair that we have here. Okay, we have a linear pair because they make a line. Okay, so if they make a line, that means how many degrees are these 2 angles going to add up to? So really all you need to do is take this angle and add it to that angle and set it equal to 180 degrees. So set up your equation. I kind of got you going there. Solve for x. Number 6. Classify this triangle by its angles and its sides. Okay, so we got to look at the sides and the angles here. We got a tick mark here and here. Which remember, what's this telling you about these angles that are opposite? Since the sides are the same, what are the angles also going to be? And if there's 2 equal sides, what kind of a triangle is that? Spelling doesn't count. Do the best you can. Number 7, you need to find the value of x. So DE is 3x plus 12. EF is 36. E is a midpoint. Okay, he's the middle right here. So that means if he's the middle and the midpoint, it means these 2 halves are what to each other? So it means you just take this side and set it equal to that side. set up your equation and find x. Number 8, if you want to find the midpoint, remember to find the midpoint, take your values. So you want to take the x's and add them, divide by 2. Take the y's and add them, divide by 2. That gives you the coordinates. So you should have an xy coordinate for number 8. Number 9, I'm going to find the value of x. Again, this is a bisector, this segment right here, and you can see because of these two arcs, these two are equal to each other, these two angles. So just set them up equal to one another. And solve for x. Here in number 10, slightly different. Notice you got a double tick mark and a single. So they're not equal to each other, but they do total how many degrees. So if you were to add these two angles together, they're going to equal how many degrees. And that's how you're going to set up your equation to find x in number 10. Okay, here in the next one, we need to find I, J, K. So that's the whole thing across. What do you have to do to find the whole measurement of the angle? Number 12, we want to find PNQ. PNQ. So this part right here is what we want to figure out what it is. Now remember, this is a straight line. How many degrees is that total? So take that straight line, how many degrees it is, take those guys away by subtraction, that'll leave you with this. Okay guys, here in number 13 through 16, you got to fill in the blanks for the proof. You, of course, you'd put your answers on the answer sheet, but there's 13, 14, 15, and 16. So number 13, and I gave you a word bank up here. Corresponding angles, given, angle, angle, side, 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 and BC is parallel to DE. Now I gave you an extra one of these, so you got to figure out which one goes where. One of those you're not going to use, but it's going to be one of these two that you're not going to use. Okay? So the 13 says angle C is congruent with angle E, and they have that marked already up here in the triangle, but let's mark it again. Okay? And how do we know that's equal? Use the word bank. Step 2, and the reasons are given to you. It's all put in. 14, it's another given statement. Which of those given statements up here have we not used yet? That's 14. 15 talks about angle ABC and BDE being congruent. Why is that? Use your word bank. And then finally, in 16, we're just wanting to say triangle ABC is congruent to BDE. So which of these two postulates are we going to use there? Okay, we want to find the value of x here in number 17. All right. Again, all these, and that's a 32, and that's a 65 in case you can't tell. But these all total how many degrees? So if you set up your equation, take all your angles, and they're going to equal how many degrees? And solve for x. 18, we're also solving for x. Okay, this was 42 degrees in case you can't tell. There's a right angle, so that's 90. How many degrees is x up here? Okay, number 19, we're solving for x again. One thing we want to remember is that in order to get this exterior angle out here, you look across, it's these two guys added together, and these are 60s. So you're going to say, okay, 5x minus 10 equals 60 plus 60. And solve for x from there. Number 20, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. In the Pythagorean theorem, it is again a squared plus b squared equals c squared. They give you A, they give you B. Figure out the rest and find the missing side. 21 is the same thing as 20. You're going to use Pythagorean theorem again. I'll jot it down here for you again, just in case you need it. There's a theorem. Use the back of your paper if you need to. And you should be able to figure out letter C again. Okay, guys, number 22 is a distance formula. Okay, so you need to figure out the length between the 2 points. So like, here's an x1, y1, x2, y2. Plug them into the formula. This is a square. That's a 2. Sorry if that's there. That helps. But make sure you plug things in. Follow order of operations. The last thing you want to do at the end, of course, remember, is take the square root. Okay? Moving on to number 23 and 24, they appear in 25. They appear to all be the same, so I'm going to kind of do these all together in one example. All you're going to do is plug them into Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. But now, what you want to do is make sure you always identify your c. C is always the longest side in your triangle. Okay? Now, when you work this out up here, when you plug them in, square them and everything, you work out the numbers you get on both sides. Okay? If this side, if the left side is greater, remember that's going to be acute. If it's less, it's obtuse. Oh, there's the bell. Don't leave. And if it's equal, it's right. Okay? That's 24, 23, 24, and 25. Okay, number 26 it is. These two triangles you're looking at are equal to each other. They're congruent. It tells you so. Now, all they've done is kind of flipped it around. They've kind of rotated him a little bit. You need to figure out DE. So that is this segment right there. How long is that segment? Use the other triangle to help you out. Okay, guys, 27, 20, 29, they go back to the picture on the last page. So look at your last page, and so you can see the figure. But 27 wants to know how long is segment EF. 28 wants to know how many degrees is angle B and how many degrees is angle C in 29. Maybe it's all on one page on your test, but on mine it's not. So, like I said, just kind of fold your paper in a way so that you can see the shape. If you have a question, let me know. Okay, 30. Is there enough information to state the postulate or the theorem you would use to prove these congruent? So you're looking at these two triangles. You got a double tick mark here showing these sides. You got a 90 degree here, which means you're going to have a 90 degree there. And we got something going on there. So which choice do you have? Is there no, there's not enough information? B, this is the hypotenuse leg, the HL. Is it side angle side or angle side angle? Which one do you think applies? 31, is there enough information to state that the postulate of the theorem could be showing that the triangles are congruent again? So again, pay attention to what you have. You have a single arc here, single here, double and a double, a triple, and a triple. There's the double on this one. So again, is it not enough info? Side, 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 side angle side, or angle side angle? Okay, guys, in number 32, this statement is false. Okay, but you got to write me a counterexample, like a sentence saying why it's false. So if today is the day that starts with the letter T, then yesterday must have been Monday. So if today is the day that starts with letter T, then yesterday had to have been on Monday. That's not true. Give me an example why. Give me a day of the week when, if today starts with a T, what letter of the week, then that means the previous day had to have been Monday. What day of the week proves that false? Okay, 33 through 37, we're going to use this here picture right here. So first off, we want to say, okay, what's the intersection of EB and BC? So EB and BC. What is the intersection? 34 talks about plane ABC, so this plane right here, and plane FA. So also, let's shade him a different color. This plane here, this side panel. Those two intersect where? At what? 35 wants the intersection of plane FAB. So again, this plane on the side, and plane ECD. So that would be this plane on the other side, kind of like a rooftop. Where do they intersect? 36, the intersection of plane ABC and plane FED. So let's erase some of this. It won't let me erase all of it. I don't know why. They need to change that on this app. After you click out of the pen, it doesn't let you go back and change it again. But anyhow, so here we go. Plane ABC, so that's this plane here, and plane FED. So that's going to be, if you had a picture of the triangle in the back, very back panel, what's that intersection, or is there one? That's for 33 through 36. 37. They want the length of QR, that's right here. So the whole thing's 21, this part's 13. What's the length of QR? Okay, 38 again, we're going to find the midpoint. Okay, remember the midpoint, you're going to take the x's, divide by 2, add the y's, and divide by 2. Okay, remember that's going to be your x1, your y1, your x2, and your y2. Number 39, if E and F are complementary angles. Complementary angles means they add up to how many degrees? You got to remember that. So F, they want you to figure out how many degrees F is. If E is 9.5, so you're going to take how many degrees are in a complementary angle total and subtract that 9.5 to get angle F. Okay? Remember, complementary angles. 40, we want to rewrite this as an if-then statement. So you will need an umbrella if it is raining. So you need to, on your paper, write an if-then statement. Okay? Talking about this if-then. Okay, 41. And once you write an if-then statement with these pair of statements. So here we go. Pay attention. If you wash your uniform in bleach, then the colors will fade. If your colors in your uniform fade, then you'll have to buy a new one. What's the common part? Remember, if we kind of split these apart into sections, okay, you got like section A, B, C, and D. Take out the part that's common, and then put the other two pieces together to make one statement. Kind of like in a review, said if you live in Boston, then you live in Massachusetts. If you live in Massachusetts, then you live in New England. Well, then that meant that if you lived in Boston, then you lived in New England, where you could buy some chowder, some crab. All right? Good luck. All right, kids, in number 42 here, we want to find the value of x. Okay, this is 2x. This one's 2x plus 18. Notice this right angle here. So if you got these lines are perpendicular, which means probably this whole thing, here's also a right angle. So that means if you took these two angles and added them together, they probably equal 90 degrees. So set up your equation. I would probably say like 2x plus 18 is going to equal what? Okay, what are you setting that equal to? Again, let this guy here help you. and then solve for x. You're done with that, flip on. We're moving on to the very last page. Here we are on the last page, number 43. You got to find the measurement for angle 1 right here. Okay? Use this information that I have provided for you up here to help you do so. Okay guys, we want to find, again, measurement of angle 1. Okay? And you're going to want to use this 109 degrees here. These are same side interior angles, which means if you add them together, they equal 180. So that should help you figure out what is angle 1. Okay guys, let's use a little reasoning here to find x and y in this problem. Okay? First thing you want to look at, here's a pointer, there we go. Here's x. He is a linear pair with this angle here. They make a straight line. So how many degrees total should this equal? That'll help you find x. Okay? Then, once you know what he is a corresponding angle, because they're both in the lower right with the 5y. So, it means they're equal to each other. So basically, whatever you get for x, set up your equation. 5y is equal to what? Which is whatever you get for x right here. And solve for y. Okay gang, this one, we want to use coordinate notation. So start with just go from one point, pick out one point. I'd go from A to A. Always start with the x's. Now if you're going left, you would go minus. If you're going right, it would be plus. So x blank blank, okay, and it's going to be y blank, plus or minus how many. So just think about it. Here you got to go over to the right 1 for your x, and then for your y, you had to go up 2 units. So it's going to be x plus or minus something and y plus or minus something. In 47, you had another distance problem. Okay, here's your formula. I've labeled all your points for you. Just plug things in. Work carefully. Okay? Be very careful. In number 48, you need to classify this triangle by its angles and its sides. So take very close look at the sides and the angles, and you should be able to tell me. Your choices are equilateral, isosceles, scalene triangles. And is it acute, right, or obtuse? Okay, so you should have 2 answers for that. We had one further back. I think it said and. I may not have caught that. But you should have 2 answers. For example, you would say it's acute and equilateral. That's just an example. That's not what this one really is. But you should have 2 words, okay? And double check the one further back. Can't remember what number it is, though. In number 49, we want to find the value of x. Now, if all these angles are equal, it also means the sides are all equal, which means if you set this equal to this in an equation, then you can solve for x. In number 50, we're back to using a little Pythagorean theorem. Remember, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay? Remember, look directly across from that right angle. There's your c. You are looking for a in this one. So work carefully. Take your time. In number 51, can these sides form a triangle? So you take the 2 shortest sides again, add them together. They've got to be bigger than the 3rd side in order to be a triangle. 52, you're to find the value of x. Again, you've got 3 angles here. 2x minus 3, 3x minus 15, and x. Together, all these angles equal how many degrees? Okay? So if I were starting to set my equation, I'd say, okay, 1x plus 2x minus 3 plus 3x minus 15 equals what? How many degrees? You should be able to know that. Last question. I mean that. It's the last one, unless you skip some. This is a 12x That's 54, and that's 78. Looks just a little blurry. So if you want to find the value of x, guys, remember, you look straight across from this exterior angle. These two added together equals that. So set up your equation. 12x equals, and then it's going to be 54 plus 78. And solve for x. Take your time. Go back through the questions. If you're not sure of something, contact your local educator. It's the last test for you in geometry in 2015. Have a great Christmas, guys.